Nope, that's just
I'm
coffee.
making soup. I'm making soup.
Oh, sure.
No, I am.
Yeah.
Good, because we were just trying to figure out what we're going to do for dinner.
As long as she doesn't have to roll that pot, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Get us going, Kelly.
All right. Public Works meeting on February 10th. It is 5:02. We are meeting here to discuss the 2021 mowing contract, and the decision that we're going to make today is whether we renew the contract with Grass Corps or we put the contract out for bid. I'm going to let John take it from here. I'd like to hear his opinion on how satisfied he is with the current service, if he has any questions or concerns. And since you're the one that deals with it most, I'm going to go ahead and let you render your opinion, please.
With Grass Corps, like I said, we've had a good relationship with them. They're very flexible. When we've changed the contract, they've never raised their rates. I sent you the contract that we sent them this year.
Right.
So you have what we're at least looking at. You know, we changed a few things with leaf season to try to make it easier. Our whole goal is to get the guys off of Wooster Pike, because that's where all our wrecks are. Our trucks are hitting us, our cars are hitting our trucks. Okay. So we're trying to work that out a little bit. Any grass company, majority of them, in the past, we've always had, they always get a different crew in. So sometimes they get a different crew because another crew left and went with somebody else. So they got new guys coming in and out. So some things might get skipped. In the drought, we always tell them to call us because we don't want them mowing all down Wooster Pike in a drought because there's no way to water all that grass. Right. And it dries out quick. If you look at some of the islands where they're bare and stuff like that, it does that. So, and you know, do we have complaints? Yes, there are certain people in the village, the same ones every year, that make the same complaints. They miss me. Okay, well, it's a drought. We're waiting for another week to do it. So outsourcing is great, but it can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So, but like I said, Grass Corps has been very easy to work with over the years. They've kept their prices down. I mean, you saw when the last time we went out to bid, everybody knew Grass Corps would go down to 46,000, and that's butt bottom. This contract right now that has, as we have it, actually would be a $55,000 to a $65,000 contract.
Yeah, I see they've gone with just the 2% and then the 2%.
Yes.
Exactly, the 47,858.
Right. So now once it hits the 50,000 mark, that's when we have to put it out to bid for in the newspaper and everything else.
Right.
Or we send it out to whomever we think is going to do the job, wants to do the job. We'll send those out, and then we can do it that way without advertising. And then we can get that back in that way. And that's where we got that 46,000 Swisher, Supremescapes, and those guys, Grass Corps. So we try to help them out a little bit. Looking at all our different aspects that we do in the village, and now being more concerned with the sewer projects, that's very time consuming, sidewalks, curbs, trying to do that. The one thing I did do this year is ask Grass Corps, I said, hey, since you're only going to give us 2%.
Oh, you froze.
Which in our renewal that we have in a contract this year or next year, as long as they don't go over 2%, we can renew it again. So it used to be 3%. I knocked it down to 2%. They never had an issue with it.
Cool.
Some years they didn't take the 2%. Some years they did. So the other thing I looked at was our mulching, because that's another big issue that we have with our department, mulching during March, April, May, trying to make everything look good for Memorial Day, the pool, all that kind of stuff. So we spent this year 11.2 on, if you took what we benefits and salary plus what we pay for 70 yards of mulch, we spent about 11.2. So I said, if you're willing to keep your pricing down, hoping they wouldn't take the 2%, I said, give me a bid on what it would cost to do 70 yards of mulching. If you purchased it, because we get a discount on the mulch, so it may be cheaper for us to do it. But I said, if you buy the mulch, because they can come in for one day with one of their big machines, a company they deal with out of Cleveland, they can come in one day and do it. So if I got with the volunteers and say, hey, look, April's where we want to start doing all this, put the Treflon down, get everything weeded, let them come in one day to make it for Memorial Day. They come in and do it all. What's the price? I think it was like $9,800.
$98.96, yeah, just shy of 10.
So hoping they wouldn't take the 2%, thinking if they got that part of it, but they still took the 2%, which is still good. It's at $47,000, $47,800.
47,858, yeah.
So we're still under our 50,000 threshold, so we do not have to go out to bid. And we do have the renewal on this year, and I think 2022 is the last year. So we could renew it again next year if we wanted to. Then after 2022, we have to go out to bid.
Right.
So
right.
Keep it simple. He said that he's still got the same supervisor on this crew that he had last year. They'll work with Kevin again like they did this year. So I think it's really a no-brainer. We're still saving money. All I can do is go back to 1998 when we had all the part-time people. But, it was $103,000 they spent on part-time people. And all they did was mow grass. Because they used to do it twice a week versus now we're only doing it once a week, except for a couple partials. Then we do twice a week. But
hey, John, not to interrupt. How many part-time people did we have doing that?
We had 18 people, 18 part-time. But now back then you have to realize also a couple of those guys worked on, okay, we do a brush route right now. So what they used to do back then was they go around and pick up all the large items that Rumpke takes now. They go around and take all the construction debris. Why we took construction debris versus having construction companies hauling their own stuff, I have no idea. We did that. And then we had the branch pickup and yard waste pickup. So the large items, we started to break it down to where they would take refrigerators and freezers at one time, because we would take that to Anderson Waste and drop them off because they would have to have somebody come in and suck all that stuff out.
Yeah.
So that was another cost that we had. Well, with Rumpke doing it all, when they changed over to Rumpke, that's why I said we could save $47,000 just by having Rumpke take it all and do all that stuff and cut it all down. They were so busy mowing twice a week with all these guys that they weren't able to do the street sweep and they weren't able to do sewer repair. They weren't able to do much of it at that point. So that's when Mike Lemon said, hey, look, if we get rid of this and start looking at outsourcing, is there a possibility where we can save this and have you guys start doing curb repair, sidewalk repair, getting the weeds out of the streets and sidewalks, all that kind of stuff. And that's where we end up removing and changing the direction of the service department. Their brush pickup, because of all the different things they had to do, or if a storm came in, they would have to dump at Rumpke or at Hafner's. At that time, it was $55. Well, then they finally got a new deal at $25, but they were spending $200 a day just on dumping brush. Now we did brush. We didn't do, now the brush route has changed since I've taken over. It used to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, they would do brush route. And I said, if you had a wood chipper versus a honeysuckle chipper, you could chip all this stuff. Well, luckily Hafner decided to say, okay, you're bringing in these big boxes. They still charge us $25. So we could go 2-3 weeks with one truck on the brush route with the new wood chipper, and it only cost $25. So that we started saving that way as well.
Now when you say saving, you mean over having part-time people? Because I'm just trying to figure out what does this have an impact on the mowing contract at all, or just because it's more of a...
so that's why we wanted to look at the mowing when we first started to outsource with Mike Lemon. We looked at all this stuff. So we had two bids: landscapers and Swisher. Landscapers was $4,400 a week, and Swisher was $1,200 a week. Because it was all new, nobody really knew what was going on. They started out with Swisher. By the third reading, it went to landscapers. We ended up we saved like $5,000 that year. So we started tweaking the contract a little bit. I worked with Steve and we started tweaking it and looked at Montgomery's contracts and seeing what we're going to do and how we could tweak it a little bit to start saving. Well, then as it went on, we started giving out, instead of half, we went 3/4 to now we're the full service. We used to do twice a week. So the bids were coming in $70,000 to $103,000. So, you know, it just depended on what to do there. So
And we're just doing once a week. Yeah.
Except for a couple partials like the bell tower and the island at the square in front of Spinner Webbers. So there's a couple of things that changed over the years, like at Dale Park, the hillside around Dale Park and the Cemetery Hill. After we cleaned out all that honeysuckle, we decided we're going to keep that. Well, when they asked Grass Corps if could they do it once a month, they said yes, and they did not charge us anything the first year.
Okay.
Now it's $1,000 to do it once a month for the 8 weeks or 32 weeks. So, or let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. For 8 months. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at on that. But like I said, they've been one of the easiest ones to work with over the years. So,
and again, just make sure I understand. This is a renewal. This is just, you know, we already have the contract. We're just sort of checking the next year.
Right.
yes,
It's sort of like what we did with the garbage too, right? The waste
Correct.
recycling is we're looking at it and saying, okay, how much are they going up by? Do we want
Right.
to change that or
yes,
does it seem
Yeah.
reasonable to continue to renew
Right.
at this rate?
yes,
So the
So-
original one was in 2019 for $46,008.08.
yes,
And then it went up 2% in 2020, and now it's up 2% for 2021, which is spot on the dollar amount that they gave us.
yes.
Okay.
Is
So-
the mulch, but if, you know, if we decide here in this meeting to recommend that we continue our service with Grass Corps, how does the mulch is a completely separate thing? That's not.
That is
invested in-
correct.
Okay.
The mulch is
I'm
something
clear.
separate.
Okay,
So my recommendation, like I said, it was 11-2 for us to do all the mulching. So we can continue on with the sewer work. I think we're compiling a list right now while they're cleaning out the sewers, which catch basins need to be repaired. We've got a sinkhole on Mariemont or Wooster Avenue by Haney Graphics. That's sinking. We got a sinkhole there that we think is part of a drain that's broken out. So, and we've got the one obviously by the bell tower that still need to repair and stuff. So this will out, I got 8 curbs. I think we've come up with that we have to have repaired this year.
so
It's been
your
on the
point is
list.
if we do the mulch with Grass Corps, that frees up your guys to take care of these other things, basically.
Yes, yes. So that's way also the volunteers won't have to worry about, I can say, hey, look, everything needs to be done now by second week of May, because these guys can come in 1 to 2 days and have it all done instead of us spending a whole week with our whole crew doing everything and splitting it all up.
Okay.
So
Are they, now they're not, so this order that they've given, this bid that they've given for the mulch, I mean, is there a deadline for signing that? I mean, do they expect that will, okay, so we don't absolutely have to make that recommendation today.
no,
I just would like to take some more time to talk about that.
okay,
And also, I agree with you, Kelly, and also, since this is a separate contract from the other stuff, it
Right.
might, I would think it would be good just to check with at least one other provider, just to see what would they cost too, you know, just to,
that's fine.
you know.
Yeah.
So I like Kelly's idea, like making sure we all understand, okay, what are the things that this frees you up, your team to go up and do?
Right.
And then separately, how, you know, competitive bidding on this separate piece of work that's just
Yeah.
a mulching type of thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
John, let me ask, you said that Grass Corps could do the mulching in 1 day.
Yeah, they have some company that get out of Cleveland. They bring one of these big trucks down with the hoses.
Blows it in, shoots it in.
And they just blow it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
How long would it take you to do it?
it takes our whole crew about a week to get everything done,
Okay.
depending on if something else happens or whatever. If we get a storm, we got to clean up the storm.
Right.
So you're back and forth. This way it's all done, taken care of. And we'll still go ahead and trim everything out, make sure everything's cleaned up, ready to go for them.
Yeah.
Put the Teflon down, the weed killer. We'll still do all that. We'll just prep everything and let them come in and do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it bears looking at and, you know, a little more analysis of what our options are, but so,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to have that conversation. I don't think we're
So-
ready in this meeting to make that particular recommendation.
So one of the things reason I was really looking at this is looking in the future. If we get over 50,000 and the prices are going up $55,000-$60,000, would it be best to split up the village versus main areas versus parks and say, hey, if you come in and take care of mowing and mulching and maybe have two contractors in to drop the pricing down to where it might be 35,000, you know, we can look at it that way and see if it's going to be beneficial to have two companies come in and split the cost. I mean, my
Yeah,
goal is just to keep on trying to figure out different ways to save money as much as we can in our bigger areas.
that's appreciated, John.
Yeah, so yeah, when we put this out, we can always ask that as an option.
Yes.
I mean, I would think usually they're going to offer a better price to do the whole job versus just half the job. But it's,
Correct.
we can always ask the question. It doesn't hurt to ask. So.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, right, Kelly. So Kelly, the decision you're looking for today's meeting is just the extension of the current contract.
Whether we want to just go
Yeah.
ahead and accept the extension of the current contract.
Yeah. So what I'll do then, I'll get a hold of a couple of the other guys and say, hey, we're looking at somebody mulching the area, 70 yards. You know, what's your cost going to be at this point if you're interested in doing it? I'll get a couple more bids and I'll let you know then.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So, it sounds like, John, you're pleased with grass core service.
Yeah.
I'd like to go and have the committee recommend that we just extend the contract with grass core for 2021.
With the plus 2%.
Yes, well, yeah, as the bid has given us this time.
Well, Kelly, just so that I'm clear on that, then that with the 2%, we're talking about 47,858.
That is correct.
Okay.
Right, because the original bid was 2019, so it went up 2% for last year. And then with the 2% for this year, it's 47,858.
I got you.
So the numbers do work.
And then in 2022 is when it has to go out again, John, is that right?
I think we can renew it in 2022. And then after that, it goes out.
Let's
Okay.
see.
So okay.
Three additional years. So yes, through 2022. So next year would be our last year to renew this option at 2%.
Okay.
So, okay. Committee members, everybody in favor, and go ahead and just signing in renewing the contract with grass core? Aye, yes.
With 2%, yep. got it.
2%, yeah, which is the amount that John provided us with today. So, okay, well, let's make the recommendation that we do that, and we'll get the proper paperwork together. And I will have our illustrious mayor sign the contract.
Who is that?
I don't know, find somebody.
So, but again, I'm assuming just to be just like the other one, we just do resolution. We just like you did for the waste and recycling. It's just
Yes.
council votes on a
We don't
resolution,
need-
and then we go ahead and
We do not need an ordinance.
right.
Okay. So I'll touch base with Ed on that, and when do we have a deadline for when they need this back by, John? I don't recall.
No, so you go ahead and make your recommendations next meeting. And then we can still do the 3 readings because it's a renewal. They can just go ahead and do it anyway. So
Okay.
we're good.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'd ask if there's anything else, but we're not going to talk about anything else.
Right.
It's pretty outside.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully everyone's in for the night.
How many guys have we got on, John?
Right now there's 3.
Oh, okay.
So they'll go check all the roads before they leave.
All right.
Yep.
So
Okay.
we've already pre-treated with the liquid prior
I
to.
saw that. Yeah, I saw them doing
Yeah.
that.
So
Coming down.
yeah,
It is really coming down. Yep.
it stopped at my house. So it'll eventually stop down there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
still snowing here.
Yep.
Well, you know, if you all put that dome over the village when you leave, you know, at night. I told Rick before you leave, put the dome over it so it doesn't come in.
Stop it. Yeah.
You know.
Well, we'll give that some consideration. So, all right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
All righty,
Kelly.
thanks.
Okay. Stay safe tonight.
Lou.
Oh yeah.
All right. Bye.